morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. We are back on the 16x map build. Taking a break from factories today, because I rebuilt every single placeable factory over the last week, and I am not doing a lot of XML work today. We'll have to do a little bit, but I'm not doing a lot of XML work today. But I want to get this last traffic spline in so we can make one adjustment to the train and then make sure train 1 is running exactly like it's supposed to, and then we can get the second train in. But the train splines take a couple hours to get in. They're a pain. So unfortunately, we're not going to do a lot of building today. We're going to do a lot of spline work today. And then once the trains are in, I want to get the train silos done. Which is a little bit of XML work as well, but not as much as XML factory work. Let me slow my speed down just a little bit. So yeah, unfortunately it's going to be traffic. It's going to be traffic splines and train splines. But I like to get them done early in the build and get them out of the way because they're a pain. We still don't have the vehicle shop in, and we still don't have the animal dealer in. But I want to get all these splines out of the way. So yeah, this is going to be, I had a request to do like a 16x like homestead style map. So we're not going to have a lot built into this map. It's pretty much going to be all place your own, create your own. I'm hoping I pulled the, the right gizmo there. Alright, so let's get this down and around. So this is just going to be a simple loop, but we have a couple of railroad crossings to go up and over. Which are not easy in 22. You have to manually pull up and down on the spline. The page down button, for some reason, in 22 is not working. I hope they get that fixed with the next update. Am I down? About there. Yeah. These aren't too bad. Going up and over the mountain with the train spline is a pain in the butt. That should get us back on the surface. Alright, let's get down to this next curve. hope everyone is doing well today. Yeah, I had a crazy busy weekend with a bunch of updates. So I didn't want to do a lot of XML work today. And it's been well over a week since I've worked on this map, so let's see what we can get done today. I don't use spline markers, I just eyeball it. But you'll be able to use all of the placeable factories on this map, which is really nice. At least these bigger curves are a little bit easier to put in. But I got to get this traffic spline in so I can fix the train crossing. The train's throwing an error because it couldn't find the traffic spline on this side of the road because I didn't have one in the map. So I've got to throw this traffic spline in and then bring the train spline back in and see if we can't get the error out of the train. I got to get the error out of the first train before we can get the second train in. Alright, how does that curve look? Curve looks pretty good. Alright, so let's get this guy pulled down. Alright, so we're about halfway around with this spline. Yeah, the mountain's not finished, it's just roughed in. We'll finish the mountain after all the splines are done and we start putting the mining in. The mountain's going to be multi-tiered. For the mines. Alright, 2 more turns. And 1 more up and over. Sassy1, good morning. Thank you for all the new stuff. Appreciate you and Dixie enjoying the gameplay. Yeah, we're trying to make it a lot more enjoyable. There's not a lot in the way of mods out for 22. So I figured if you don't like my map, you can use all the factories on any map. They're a little bit harder to build, but it's definitely worth it, because I'm actually doing a YouTube series on the No Man's Land map, and I'm going to use a few of those factories on that map as well. But yeah, we've got now that most of the basic stuff's out, we're going to start getting into more of the finished goods factories, like the pizza factory, tasty cake and cookies and all that good stuff. A lot of what we had in 19, we can start building now for 22. But getting all the basics done was a pain. Yep, yeah. Thank you, Sassy One, much appreciated. So the next factory I'm going to build is the cement factory, and that's going to be all. It's going to make like finished goods where you can just sell them. So I believe what the cement factory makes, we're not going to use in other factories. So we're not going to do any building in 22 like we did in 19. That scripting with the new factory script, I don't think it's just available. Get you. Alright, how does this curve look? Oh, pretty good. Alright, let's get you down so we can go up and over the railroad tracks. Alright, one more. Up and over. I think that's close. Pull that back. We can start going down. And then get it back to the surface. I think we're good. Let's see if that stays on the surface. Yeah, we should be good. Let's get around this last curve. Let's get this curve done. So I found out, well, I knew for a bit, but I couldn't say anything. I was sworn to secrecy. My daughter, who lives in Texas, does 3D animation, and she went to school for it. So she went to the University of Central Florida. So she has a double major in art and animation. She's been working for a company in Texas for about 4 years. And there's an animation company in Canada that's been trying to recruit her for a few years, and she keeps telling them no. Well, I guess they finally made her an offer she couldn't refuse, so she's moving to Canada on the 1st. So the company's been working with her to get all of her Canada's version of all the immigration paperwork done and working papers and all that. So she is packing up all of her stuff, putting it in storage at her mom's house, and then she's going to head up to Canada on the 1st with her new company. So that should be interesting. And then once she's up there, and I guess they're going to put her up in a hotel for a bit until she finds a place. And then she'll move all of her stuff up. Protein Pick Mix, hailed man, how's it going? Sassy one, congrats on her. So that means I'm going to have to get my freaking passport if I want to go visit her. Which, I've never had a reason to leave the country before. Which means I'm also I guess going to have to get my real ID next time I get my driver's license renewal. Alright, let's try and get that centered. Alright, how does that curve look? Alright, that curve looks pretty good. Alright, we're almost done. All we gotta do is hook back up to the start. Do you have a Discord channel? We do. I hate Discord. I only go on there to use voice. And unfortunately, I don't have the link to it. Jump on our Facebook group, and we can get you the link to our Discord. I use Facebook. I'm on Facebook like all day long. I absolutely hate Discord. But if you type in comments, !Facebook will get you to our Facebook group. And then get in contact with Dixie Angel on there, and she can get you hooked up with Discord. Dixie does all my Discord stuff. Discord and I don't get along. So the only time I jump on Discord is if I need to jump in voice with either Dixie or Papa Smurf. Alright, let's close that loop. So that's going to be that traffic spline done. Let me save this. Let's grab a sip of coffee while that's saving. Yeah, if we hit exclamation point, but very nice placeable mod packs that you released. Yeah, those are, thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to be able to use our factories on any map. So that should be the road splines done. Let me import the train spline back in, so I got to make a couple slight adjustments on train 1. Let me turn my 16x script on. Alright, so let's go File, Import, 16x, Placeables, Train System, Train 01. Let's bring that in. So I've got to make a couple of adjustments to the traffic spline markers. So let's take the AI traffic. Let's make that one visible. Let's make this one visible. Okay, so that's the one I need to adjust on the train. So let's find the train. Which one are you? You're this side. So I have to make an adjustment to... is it the radio call? No, it's this one. Yeah, this one I believe is the one I had to make an adjustment to. So let me take my speed down a little bit. I believe, yeah, I think that's the one I need to adjust. So that has to go on the traffic spline. And I think it might have been too low. And then the signal should be fine. So I could take this AI spline, get it out of my way and make it invisible. So I think that's the adjustment I needed to make on this side. So the railroad, that's in place, the signal's in place, and then on this side we have the bar, the traffic signal, and yeah, so let's get the other side fixed. And we'll see if the train's going to quit throwing errors. If not, I'm going to have to try and figure the error out with the train before we put the second one in. Alright, so same thing over here. Where is that AI spline? I thought I had a second AI spline on this side. Are they both on that side? Maybe that's what the problem was. I had both AI splines on the same side. Let's fly back over here a second. And we got to fix the other side. Okay, you're AI spline 1. Okay, oh, this one, AI spline 2. You're on this side. This is the side I have to fix. Alright, so that's the side that needs to be adjusted. Alright, so let's go back to... So that one's done. Let's drop this one open. And we have 2 crossings. So this side is the one that's done. This side is the one that was throwing an error. So let's get this guy on the traffic marker. And then we have our signal And then I could get this spline out of the way. Let's make that one invisible. Let's make that one invisible. The AI splines will do another day. And then that should take... I'm going to leave the train spline visible until we're done with it. And then we can make it invisible. So let's go File, Export. Let's override train 1. Let's delete it out. Alright, let's save the map. We're going to jump in game and see if I can get the errors out of the first train. And see if I have the traffic spline running in the correct direction. Alright, let's jump in game. Hopefully that gets rid of my errors. Alright, so let's jump into a new save. And our blank unnamed 16x map. While that's loading, I just want to check something on my phone real quick. Alright, nothing pressing. Alright, so let's jump in here. Let's check that. Let me grab some speed. Let's check this this last traffic spline we put in, make sure the cars are running in the correct direction. And we'll check the train. So I'm looking for cars on the outer loop. Oh, I may have forgot to put the user attributes in for this. I forgot to put the user attributes in for the spline. All right, we'll have to go in and check the... we have to put some user attributes in, or we're not going to have cars running on the second spline. I forgot it's different in 22 than it was in 19. All right, let's jump over here. I have a couple temporary radio callers in to call the train on. But these are just temporary. They're gonna move. They're not gonna stay here. So let's rent the train. We'll wait for the train to arrive. And I want to see if the errors go away with the train traffic signals. So we should be able to see the train on the map. It is. It's working its way down. Ignore the map. It's the Ritchie's Creek map PDA for now. But the train should stop. We should be able to get in a train. I'll put these radio callers at all of the railroad silos. But it takes a while to go, because it's a 16x map, it takes a while for the train to make one loop. You're probably going to be on the train for like 10 or 15 minutes making one loop. And I only have 3 cars on it for now, so the train's not finished yet either. So this should come to a stop. And we should be able to get in it now. And then I'm going to actually take it backwards because that traffic spline where we need to go is actually closer on this side. So we're just going to take her backwards, go back towards the mountain. Would you be able to give me some advice on changing textures on palettes in Giants Editor? You can't change the textures in Giants Editor. You have to use Paint.net or any of the Paint programs. Yeah, I build all of my palettes in Paint.net. Most most modders make their palettes in Blender. I don't know how to use Blender. But yeah, I never change textures using Giants Engine or Giants Editor. I just want to see if we get back over here, this train crossing signal is going to work. Let's go. I'm going to keep up the speed. We'll take it all the way up the mountain. We'll come back down. We'll see if we have train crossing signals. So I can't get them working in reverse. They work when you're going. Okay, they did come down. Awesome. Okay, so they're working on this side. Let's see if they work on the other side. Yeah, ignore the mountain. It's just been roughed in. I needed to rough it in just to get the train and the traffic up and over the mountain. And then we'll jump in the log to see if the errors went away with the train crossings. If not, I've got something wrong in the XML file. I just need to figure it out. Let's see if we get crossing signal here. See, this side's not working. Other side was working. This side's not working. I don't know why. Yeah, see, this side's still not working. So what do I have wrong in the XML file? Oh, I do have traffic running on that spline. The traffic is stopping, I just can't get the signals down. Let's see what I have messed up with the signals. Let's get out of here. And we'll look at the errors on the log. I'm hoping if they're still throwing errors, that may nail it down a little bit. look at the log first. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the errors went away with the train, but this signal is still not working. Yeah, no errors in the log now, but that's going to make it a little bit harder. So let's bring this train back. Which side was it? It was, this side was working, this side over here was not. Let's go back over to this side. Let's look at the signals. Actually, let me stay here a second. So let's go File, Import. Let's bring the train system back in. Alright, so the signals on this side were working. Now these are lit up in red. I didn't think the other ones were on this side, so there may be something wrong with this signal. Nope, they're lit up as well. Okay, let's just double check, make sure I have all so it's this side. It's the crossing in the middle. So let's check our XML work for train 1. Placeables, train system, train 1. So it was railroad crossing middle, that's not right. So east is fine, middle's the one that's messed up. So let's look at our first crossing. Oh, actually, crap, I can't do it from in the map because my numbers are wrong. Alright, hold on, let's delete that out. So it's the railroad crossing middle that I need to look at. Let's delete that out. We'll save the map again. And let's open up the crossing. In the editor itself. And then if I have to, I can bring it back into the map. So let's go into here. Let's open up train 1. Let's make sure our i3D mapping is correct. So it was the middle one that was not right. So this should be 0, 6, and 0. Oh, maybe that's what's wrong. Hold on. No. Railroad crossing. Is it 0 and 6? So I have 0 and 6 there. We have, the east is working, so that's 0 and 5. You should be 0 and 6. So that's set up correctly. I'm just trying to see if there's anything different in, so the activation's the same. The gates, zero, 6, 0, 0, 0, 6, 0, 0, so the node is correct there. 0, 6, 1, and 0, so the node is correct there. Everything up here is identical to down here. Yeah, I'm not sure why one side's working and the other's not, because there's nothing wrong with the XML. Signal is 0602. Maybe, no, right there. 06020, 06020. Yeah, so the signal is fine there. The signal is fine there. right there, the link node, right there. That's what's wrong. That needs to be a 6. That should do it. It wasn't linked to the proper number. So now we should have a second working signal. Uh-oh, Nightbot gotcha. Alright, hold on, give me 1 sec. Let me take care of this and I can answer your questions. Let me just get in the train and see if I have to drive it all the way around to get it back to that. So I import the palette into paint texture. It's in there. Then I export it again. The issue I have is when I add a texture in GE, it textures everything. You have to like pick and choose what you want to work on in paint.net. So yeah, sometimes you have to like select like 10 different areas on the palette. So I don't know what you're trying to do. Like if, let's say it's a palette of like drill pipe and there's like 16 different pipes on the palette. Well, all 16 pipes are going to be the same color. But if you want the 16 pipes, 16 different colors, you have to pull one pipe out of the editor by itself and open it up separately, retexture the one pipe, and then import it back in. Then you have to pull the second pipe out of the palette, open it up in the editor separately, retexture it separately, and then put it back into the editor. So if you want all 16 pipes, 16 different colors, that's the only way you can make it work that way. So for instance, if you're doing like a palette of seed bags and you want all seed bags 16 different colors, well, you have to retexture each bag separately. So I'm not sure what you're trying to do. So we're going to have to go all the way back out here and wait for the train to come again. So let's call the train and wait for it to show up. It's showing the pipe and the pallets as one material. Yeah, you have to separate the pipe from the pallets, make sure they're named differently. So the pallet itself and the pipe cannot be the same can't be the same I3D. So your pallet has to be one I3D, your pipe has to be a separate I3D. How would you have to just click on the one pipe and then export it out. Export it out and save it. And then retexture it separately and then import it back in. And then if you're trying to do like 16 pipes, 16 different colors, you have to name them pipe 1, pipe 2, pipe 3, pipe 4. So each pipe has to have a unique name, because if you try and texture one pipe with the same name, it's going to texture every pipe the same. So you're going to have to open up the palette in Giants Editor, select one pipe, export the one pipe out, rename it like pipe 2, retexture it, and then import that pipe back into the palette. Then you have to take the third pipe, export it out, rename it pipe 3, retexture it, and then report it back into the original palette. And then you have to do that with each individual component. Yeah, give me a second to test the train, and I can actually go into my palette of pipes. Yeah, okay, you got it? Yeah, see, that's how you have to do it, because if they're named identical in the original I3D, it's going to retexture everyone that has the same name. So you have to name each pipe separately. So each pipe has to be its own name. And again, I'm probably going to drive this backwards because it's closer than driving it all the way around. And we'll see if we get that second set of crossings working. Let's just zoom the camera out a bit. Alright, let's drive you backwards again up and over the mountain. And then if we have it fixed here, it's going to be much easier to get the second train in. And I still haven't decided what I'm doing with the map border yet. But that's going to be a 2-day project, getting the border done. The map, the edge of the map, all the way around. And then once the train's in and running, then we can get our lakes and streams and stuff in the map. So I've got a bunch of bridges I can use. I'll probably just double up all the cars on this train, so we'll go with like 2 grain wagons, 2 of the sugar beet wagons, and then like 2 of the open wagons. And I'll probably throw the timber wagon and the flatbed on the end. Arlarn, hey old man in chat, thanks for stopping in. Always much appreciated. We got the first set of signals working. I'm hoping my XML adjustment got the second set of signals working. So this set was the one that was working. The one on the other side of the mountain was the one that was not working. So do we have signals here? Yes, so signals were down. The crossing gates were down there. So let's see if the crossing gates are down on this side now. Here's the test. Are these signals working now? No, they're still not working. I have no idea what's wrong with this set of signals on this side. And it's driving me nuts. I've been messing around with these for a couple days. I can't get this. I can get the first set of signals working. I can't get the second set of signals working. And there's no errors on the logs. It's driving me nuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to yank them out, and we're going to rebuild them. Let me just double check the log. Hope y'all all had a good weekend. I had an awesome weekend. Well, it was hectic all week leading up to the weekend. And then Sunday getting everything re-released was much less stressful. Let's just double check the log, make sure the signal's not throwing any errors. And I'm going to change it up a little bit. Alright, so it's not throwing any errors, I just can't get this signal working. Alright, so let's do this. So this is the side that's not working. So let's go File, Import. Let's bring the train back in. So let's take, so this was the signal. This is the signal middle. So the signal east is working, the signal middle is not. So let's do this. Let's take this guy, let's move it up. Let's go edit. Hold on, before I do that, let me back up the train. Let me make a new folder. Back up train. Let me save it just in case I completely mess it up. Let me go to train 1. Let me export it out and save it just in case I completely mess it up. So let's go File, Export, Desktop, Backup Train, Train 01. And so I'll have it saved just in case things go horribly wrong. And let's save the XML. Alright, so I have a backup just in case I completely mess this up. Alright, so let's take this railroad crossing and let's go Edit, Cut. I'm going to move it up here. And we're going to have to readjust it. So let's bring it back over here. Let me take my speed down. So let's go Edit, Interactive Placement. Let's try and get it back to where it was. And then let's double check. So we have the gate. We have the traffic blocker, which has to come over to there. And then we have the signal. Alright, let's do the same thing with this one. Let's go Edit, Cut, and paste. And let's put it back over here. And then let's get the, so we have the barrier, traffic blockers right where it's supposed to be, and then we have this signal. Okay, so let's delete that. So now with these we're going to have to renumber in the XML. So let's do this. Let's go back to train 1. And then let's do this. So now we're going to have so we've eliminated the middle altogether. So let me shut this one off. From there to, I think, here. So I need to shut that off. I need to shut this off. And then I need to go here, I believe. Yes, we have railroad crossings to railroad crossings, and we have railroad crossings singular to railroad crossing. Okay, so now I just need to add in 2 more gates. So let's add in 2 more gates. Alright, so the third gate is going to be so you go to number 2, you go to number 3, and then everything else stays the same, and then we take our signal, we double our signal up. So you become number 2, you become number 3. So that, I'm hoping this, so I'm putting all of the railroad crossings on one, I'm taking it off of this line and I'm adding them into here. So I'm basically making one node for all of the signals on the same loop, if that makes any sense. Let me get rid of this mess. And we can put it back in if we need it. So I should have railroad crossing, and then this we don't need because we only have one railroad crossing now. So we have railroad crossing, the railroad crossing, and then railroad crossing. So my XML works, we have closed brackets. Don't use signals, so it's going to be a dare U-train crossing. They're a pain to put in, but once they're in and working properly, it's usually pretty good. Alright, so that's saved. So let me do this. So let's take train system. Let's go file, export. Let's override. Oh, that's my wrong one. Documents, my games, mods, placeables, train system. Let's override train 1. And then let's delete it back out. And then I'll save the, I don't need to save the map, we'll save the map again. Yeah, train signals in 22 are much harder than they were in 19. Alright, let's jump back in here and see if we have a second set of signals working this time. So all the pipes are single pipes. How can I group them together so I can move them all together? You have to take the one pipe and put it inside of the second pipe. So you have to take your one pipe and you have to take all the rest of them and put them inside of the other one in the editor. So you have to move the transform groups around. Alright, so let's jump back over here and call this train and just wait for it to come back around. Because you can't jump in it unless you rent it. And you can't get into it until it stops. But these radio signals are just temporary, just for testing. Alright, so we have the train rented, we just need for it to come back around. Yeah, if they're all single i3ds in the editor, you have to create a transform group and then move them all into the transform group. And then you're going to have to, once you move them, if they're all single pipes and they're in place and you put them in one transform group, you're going to have to reposition every pipe because it's going to move them around. Building pallets for 22 are a pain in the ass. It was much easier in 19. Alright, so train making its way around. And then getting the tension belts to work are even harder because each pipe's going to have its own collision so the tension belts work properly. So after you fix all your pipes, you're going to have to make sure all your collisions are fixed, or it's not going to strap down. It may not even auto-load. Alright, where's the train? Train is coming. So I'll show you one of my pallets. Like each box has to have its own collision so it belts down. I hate the seasons part of FS22, even turned off crops take, yeah. There's a mod out there called Grow Now. So all you have to do is, once you use that mod, all you have to do is hit the backspace button, and it'll take your crop. It'll take every crop on the map to the next growth stage. So if it takes it from growth stage 1 to growth stage 2, most crops are 8, 10, or 12 growth stages. So you just give the map a minute or two to catch up, and then hit the backspace button again, and it'll take the crop to the next growth stage. And if you do that like 8 times for each growth stage, it'll grow all of the crops on the map. Protein pick mix, yeah, you're welcome. I could take it in my pallet here in a minute and show you. I just want to get this signal working so we can get the second train in. I know, but would that one not mess up? Yeah, you can't. If you have a contract going, you can't use the mod. You have to make sure you have no contracts going, and make sure you have nothing planting, harvesting. So none of your implements could be working. Because I made a mistake. I planted my poplar, and I was rolling it. And halfway through rolling the field, I forgot I had the roller working, and I hit the backspace button to take it to the next growth stage, and it messed up my rolling because the crop went to the next growth stage, and I could no longer roll it. So half of my field was rolled, and half of the field wasn't rolled. Dixie's in the house. Dixie, we had someone asking about Discord. And I told them that you're the Discord expert, that I hate Discord. So if you don't mind grabbing that link. I keep forgetting to put the command in. Alright, so I'm hoping I didn't break the signals on this side of the mountain. I'm hoping the signals on this side are still working. We'll find out when we drive by here in a second. Nope, now none of the signals are working. Hang on, did I break that signal? I think I just broke that signal. Now none of the signals are working. Oh no, okay, the signals here are working. Alright, so let's see if we can get the signals on the other side of the mountain working. There you go. Yeah, I'm not on Dixie can help you out on Discord. I don't go on Discord unless I have to go in voice. All right, so the signals on this side are working. I got to get the traffic blockers working next. I think he's going to. Oh, okay, the traffic blockers are working as well. So let's see if we got the signal on this side of the mountain fixed. Yeah, I'm going to crank these train cars up so they'll hold a couple million liters each. So I'll probably crank these train cars up to like 5 million liters or something like that. Start slowing this train down and see if we have a signal working on this side. If not, I'll mess with them off camera. So I'm going to get this second spline in. So question is now, do we have a working signal on this side? Still no working signal on this side. I have no idea why one side's working and one side's not. It's the same traffic loop. So I'm going to have to separate them back out in the XML. We're going to have to go back to where they were. So I'm going to have to import my backup back in. I have no idea why one side's working and one side's not. I have no idea why this side won't work. There's no errors in the log. So they're going to have to be separated in the XML like they were. But why is one side working and one side not? It's going to drive me nuts. I want to be a Darien crossing, exactly. So let's import the original one back in. And we'll try that again. So let me go to my backup. So let's grab train 1. So let's go File, Export. Let's override that one. And let's take our XML and we'll throw that back in here. So the original one's back in. But why one side's working and one side's not is completely beyond me. So let's import the train back in. Alright, so which side of the mountain are we on? So you're the side that's not working. So what do I have different between this set and this set? So this is the set, so the east one is the one that's working. So let me delete that out. That I'm done with. Let me open this back up. Alarn with the 100 bits, thank you very much. Have you ever thought about doing modding tutorials? I am not an expert on modding at all. Most of what I do is trial and error. Alright, so we have our railroad crossing here, and we have our second railroad crossing here. So what is the difference between, so why is the east working and the middle one is not working? So our railroad crossing here is linked to node 0 and 5. So our east is working. It's linked to this, to Oh, I can't look at it in here. I have to look at it out here. So let's open up train 1. Alright, so the east is hooked to 0 and 5. So the east is working. So that's hooked to 0 and 5. So our middle is hooked to 0 and 6. So that node right there is correct. Then we have our activations the same. Then we get into our gates. Unless I have to change these to 0 and 90. I may have to change these around because we're coming in a different direction. No, we're not. It should be fine. So our first gate here is working. And it is 0500. And then our second gate is 05, 1 and 0. So they're correct. So our east, or our middle that's not working, is 0600 and 0610. So these are correct. And then I have the traffic blockers turned off because they're not working properly. And then we have our signal. So our signal here is 06020. No, up here. Our east one's working. So our east signals are 05020. So 05020, 05120. So they should be the same down here. So 06, yeah, so all of our I3D mapping here is correct. Our bell node is correct. Our link node here is correct. So why is this set of crossings working and this set of crossings not working? When everything is identical. I'm going to have to try and mess with this off camera and figure it out, because I have no idea why one set's working and one set's not working. So we have this bracket goes to there, this bracket goes to here, this bracket goes to here, and there's no errors in the log telling me why. One train's working and one train's not. So there's no errors in the log. I just don't know what's wrong with the XML that I can get the east crossing working but the middle crossing not working. I don't see anything different. We have the activation, we have our gates, we have our traffic blocker, we have our signals, we have our sounds. So they're identical. Don't know why. Yeah, I learned most of what I learned is all trial and error. Now I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the start route and the end route on the gate. But because the train, let me take my speed up. So the train is traveling in, let's come back over here. So the one on this side is working. I only got one more thing to try and then I'm at a complete loss. So our train is coming from this direction. No, it doesn't matter because our signals are the same because we're coming from the same direction. So the 0, 0, 0 and then 9, so that shouldn't matter. What else do we have? So we have the spline. Radio collars are separate. Yeah, for some reason I just can't get the second set of crossings working. Don't know. Let's get the second train running and then I'll try and figure out the crossings. So I'm going to go File, Import. I'm going to bring train 1 in again so I have 2 of them in the map. And I'm going to take that one, I'm going to go File, Export. I'm going to export it out as train 2. Let me save that. So let's delete that one out. Let's go File, Import. We'll bring train 2 in. Because it has all the gates and everything in place, and I just have to put a new spline in. So let's go. What did I miss? Arlarn gifted tier 1 sub to protein pick mix. Thank you very much. Alright, so let's create a new spline. And I gotta throw it into here. And then we have to move it up. And then we're going to take this one, delete it out. This becomes train 02. And then we have to put this spline in. So where do I want to start this spline? I'll probably do what I did. I'll probably start it up here at the top of the mountain like I did the other one. So somewhere about here. We'll throw in train 2. And it's going to probably take me a good hour or so to get this spline in. And I have no idea why the signals won't work. Alright, so let's grab the end. And let's work our spline around. And then we'll see if the gates work on the second train. Alright, here's where it becomes very, very time consuming. back up. Just got to start bending the spline down. In 19, I used to be able to pull the spline up, hit page down, and it would put it on the surface. It doesn't work in 22. So you got to slowly, let me take my speed down even more. So I got to slowly, manually curve it down. And then you got to look back to make sure that it doesn't mess this previous spline up. So I think it took me like 2 hours to put train 1 in. Hoping this one goes a little bit quicker. Now that I know what I'm doing. This train actually has more crossings than the first one. I think this one has 4 or 5 different road crossings. So this one's going to be really interesting if I can't get them working. No, we're still on a curve. Still curving down. Yeah, I did the first one off camera because this is like super boring. And once I get to this straight section of track, I can go a little bit quicker because it's the same angle. And I know my track's off a little bit right here. I can make that adjustment. It shouldn't mess anything up with the spline. Oh, I gotta see. I need to see where I was, not where I'm going. I've begun to see your No Man's Land series. Pretty cool so far. I've only seen the first 3 episodes. Yeah, I'm having fun on that map. It's I'm gonna do some. So I'm running the No Man's Land series and I'm running the Ritchie's Creek series. The Ritchie's Creek series, I want to do heavy production. No Man's Land, I want it's going to be more focused on crops and animal husbandry and light production. But I like the whole create your own field thing. Too far. Let me back that up one. You get too far ahead and it messes the previous spline up. Hoping we get this train in before lunch. On the scenograph, doesn't matter in what position things are. Like, doesn't matter if the pallet is below or above the drill pipe. It does, because it all depends on where your trigger node is to load your pallet. So the trigger node in order for the auto load truck to detect your pallet has to be in the correct position or it won't auto load. And that's usually right below the pallet itself, and then everything else sits on top of the pallet. Oh, in the order, I don't think the order matters as long as your i3D mapping is correct. If you're asking about how the order of stuff is in the transform group, that shouldn't matter, but you have to remap, you have to i3D map everything. Because if you move things around in a transform group, then you're going to have to re-I3D map it in the XML. Because if the drill pipe's not in the correct order, they won't load or unload. Alright, we're about halfway down the first hill. Once we get to the level area, it'll go a little bit quicker. So yeah, let me do a quick save. Let me pull up my drill pipe palette real quick. Alright, so if I go into, what do I have open? I've got the train open. Let's close that one. Alright, so if I go into, like for instance, my drill pipe palette. And now let me just zoom in a little bit. And let me pull up the XML. So in my palette viz group, I have my content. So I have them in layers. So layer 1, so layer 4, when it's unloading, so layer 4 will disappear first, and then layer 3 will disappear, and then layer 2 will disappear, and then layer 1 will disappear. But in the XML, they have to be in that same order. So you have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. And then layer 1 is 0, 0, 0 to 0. So that is here. So that has to be I3D mapped. So if you change the order here, they have to match the order they are in your XML. And then each layer has to have, I have them invisible, but each layer also has to have a collision for the tension belts, or the pallet won't load or unload properly. And then you have to have, each pallet has to have a dynamic mount trigger. That's what detects the auto load. And then you have to have a discharge node, or your pallet won't empty. And then you have to have your collisions for the pallet itself for the forklift, or the forklift won't go under it. But whatever order they are here, you have to I3D map them here as well. So if you rearrange the order in the I3D in the editor, you have to rearrange the order in the XML also. But you were asking about coloring them. So if you want every pipe to be a separate color, you have to export that one pipe out of the editor, rename it, retexture it, and then import it back in a different texture. And then you have to do the same thing with this one. You have to export this one out, rename it, retexture, and then import it back in. And then the same thing. So pull it out, rename it, retexture, and put it back in. This way every one of your pipes will be a different color. Because right now they're all named the same. So if you go to change the color on one, it'll change the color on every single one of them. Because they're all linked together with the same i3D and the same name. Alright, back to our train spline. Oh, I can't wait to get off the mountain. Yeah, I got that sorted now. Textures are how I want them. You're welcome. Almost to the level area. Let's bring this back. Almost off the slope. Alright, we're almost level. We should get 1 or 2 more in, and I should be able to just go straight. How does that look? Come up just a hair. Alright, we should be good. We're nice and flat now. Coming up on our first turn. The train splines are actually harder to put in than the traffic splines. Since this is going to be a 16x map, we're going to have to find 400 collectibles. Actually, collectibles on this map are going to be really hard because I'm not building much into the map. So I don't have a lot of places to hide collectibles, because the only thing that's going to be built into the map is the vehicle shop, the animal dealer, just a few sell points, no main farm, and a couple of the vehicle shop, the animal dealer. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Vehicle shop, animal dealer. Couple of railroad silos. And a couple of sell points. That's all that's going to be built into this map. Everything else is going to be create your own and place your own. You have to build your own. I'm not even putting a farmhouse in this map, so you're going to put your own farmhouse down. You're going to have to put all of your own silos down. So it's going to be like a no man's land 16x style map, pretty much. So I'm not going to have anywhere to hide collectibles. Now, when we rebuild this, and then I'm going to take this same base and turn it into a fully functioning map with a bigger road system and a complete city, and then completed fields, because this map's only going to have maybe 2 or 3 fields on it, and then everything else will be create your own. So hiding collectibles on this map is not going to be easy. Alright, so we should have a long straight run now. That curve looks pretty good. Is there a way, the editor, to generate an XML? If not, how would I go about creating an XML for that particular? You're going to have to grab a palette. You're going to have to grab an XML from another palette and completely rebuild it line for line. So you're going to have to create your own XML. It's the only way I know how to do them. get this pushed down. Yeah, it takes me about, when I'm building new pallets for new factories, it takes me sometimes about an hour a pallet to get them, to get all the i3D mapping done and to get all the textures done. But yeah, you're going to have to build your own XML. I'm going to take my speed back down. Let's get around this curve. So yeah, so just find an XML similar to what your palette is going to be and rebuild it. The XML with all the functions in it that you need. But yeah, palettes, and like I said, palettes in 19 were definitely much easier than they are in 22. Yeah, so this loop is going to have, I think, 5 or 6 train crossing signals. And if I can't get the second one working on the first train, I have no idea how the heck I'm going to get like 6 of them working on the second train. Let me take this across here and make sure I'm centered. All right, how does that loop look? Or how does that curve look? That curve looks pretty good. All right. Before I drag this around, let me do another save. All right. Now that we're fairly straight, I'm going to take my speed back up, and let's pull this down to the curve. So much nicer when you get to these long straight runs. Alright, so about there. Take my speed back down. All right, let's get this curve done. Up a little bit further. Emphasize attempting. I'm attempting to add a new fill type and palettes to a placeable. Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be back on after lunch. I have to run some errands. So this may be the only stream. It'll probably be the only stream today. Probably will not be back on after lunch. But we'll pick up wherever I left off tomorrow. Alright, coming out of the curve, we should be able to straighten back up. Get it centered. Alright, so how does this one look? Pretty good. A little off a little bit right there in the center, but I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so back up on the speed. Alright, now we have a really long straight run. Let's make sure we're centered first. Throw one more point in. Alright, nice big long straight run. So I got to put another road crossing here. So yeah, this train's going to be a pain in the butt. Alright, coming up on another curve. Let me take my speed back down. Alright, let's get around this curve. Now my spline's a little bit low because I have to drop this curve down a little bit. So the spline's going to look like it's in the ballasts, but it'll work itself out once we come back out of the curve. So I have to make a couple slight adjustments to some of the tracks. Just so I know in the XML, I have to have the file name the exact same as the i3D I want to use. I generally do. Have everything like the same name. So if I was adding a new fill type to a place, would I have to add the fill type to the map? It depends. There's two different ways of doing things. You can either add the fill type into the map, but then you have to use, then that placeable factory would only work on that particular map. It's much harder to build the fill type into the placeable, but it can be done. But which I just redid. I redid every single one of my placeables, and I built the fill type into the placeable. But it takes it's a lot of XML work, so it takes a couple hours per factory to build all of the fill types into the placeable, because you can't add just the one fill type into the placeable. You have to build every single fill type that the placeable uses. So all of the inputs and all of the outputs for the placeable have to be built into the placeable. All the palettes have to be built into the placeable. All the HUDs have to be built into the placeable. All the fill planes have to be built into the placeable. So it just depends on if you want that placeable to work on all maps or just the one map. To me, it's easier to build the fill type into the map, but then the placeable will only work on that particular map. Just the one map for now, yeah. Then you can just build the fill type into the map. And that's what I had. That's how I had all of my factories in 19. I had all my fill types built into the map, so all of my placeables could only be used on my maps. But I decided to go a different direction for 22. Because I'm only doing Ritchie's Creek is the only 4X map I'm building. I'm not building a second 4X map. Then we'll have this 16X like homestead style map, and then I'll do then I'll take the same map and make it a full map with all fields and home farm and bigger road system and a full city. And that's all I'm doing for 22, besides placeable factories. Alright, so how does this curve look? Not too bad. Alright, let's take our speed up. And let's get this guy pulled down. Still looks like it's a little bit low, but I don't know why it does that every once in a while. I think it's just an optical illusion with the spline. Alright, so we can pull this down around the next curve. We're going to come across on yet another road crossing that we're going to have to put in. See, this is going to be a pain because I got to go across the road and then make a turn. Hopefully it won't be that bad. Yeah, we should be good. So I'll take my speed back down. Let's get around this turn. We do another quick save. Yeah, there's not a lot of modding tutorials out for 22 because everybody's still learning the... It's much different in 22 than it was in 19. So I think a lot of modders are still trying to figure out the editor. There's a lot of stuff in the editor yet that new features from 22 for over 19 that I'm not even familiar with yet. But I won't be adding any more fill types into the map itself. I'll be building all my fill types into the factories. I don't like how this spline is. Looks like it's below the ballast, but it's really not. I'm not going to like this curve just because the way this spline is acting. See what it looks like when we come back out. Why do you look like you're going under the ground? And then depends on how many fill types you're adding into the map. You may have to use the limit break mod because the maps, you're only allowed X amount of fill types. And if you go over that fill type limit, you're going to need the limit break mod. Yeah, I'm not liking how this spline is looking. me get one or two more straight points and we'll look at the curve. It's going to be a little, the train's going to look a little shaky coming through that curve. Why do you look like you're not level? Alright, I'm going to leave that there because it looks pretty steady now. I'm going to pull the start down to that end point because it's easier for me to come down the hill than it is to go up the hill. So I'm actually going to pull this start point down the hill. And we'll meet back up with the end. So let me grab that point. And let's come back to the end. Let me get on this side. Alright, here we go. Let the fun begin. Coming back down the mountain. Yeah, if you build it into the placeable, good point. The map will recognize it. So I decided I'm going that route in 22. I won't be adding anything else into the map. I won't be adding any more fill types into the map itself. I'll be adding everything into the placeable now. It takes longer to build a placeable, but you can now use it on any map. Then you have to make sure you save your textures in the correct format, or the map will throw errors also. So I'm finding it much easier to build the fill types into the factory. It's harder to do, but it's more beneficial in the long run. Eggs and bacon sandwiches. So no XML work needed in the map XML if you wish to use it on. If you decide to build the fill type into the factory, then you will not need to do it. You won't need to do anything to the map. If you decide to build the fill type into the map and not the placeable, then you have to build the palette into the map, and then you're going to need HUDs, and depends on what kind of palette you build, if you need fill planes or not. I'm going to do a quick save and check. I need to see why my phone's blinging, so bear with me a second. So make sure it's nothing pressing. Alright, I'm good. So nothing pressing there. Did that save? No, it is still saving. Jaron 4780 is now following. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking time out of your day, stopping in and saying hello. Much appreciated. We are working on getting the last train spline in the map so we can get train 2 working. Still having problems with train crossing signals, but at least we'll have the second train running. And then I can mess around to see why my crossing signals don't want to work right. So it's just a matter of fixing something in the X. I got something wrong in the XML. I just need to figure out why. Love your new maps. I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, this one's going to take a little bit to build. This is a 16x. It's going to be like a homestead style map where I'm only planning on building into the map the animal dealer, the vehicle shop, just a few sell points, maybe 3 fields to get you started. No farmhouse, no main farm, so everything else is going to be all build your own and place your own. And the mining, I'm going to build the mining into the map, but there won't be like any other production built into the map other than mining. So this map is pretty much going to be create your own, build your own. So we know the signal. I may end up taking, if I can't get the signals working, I'll take them out. We'll just run the train without signals. And then it's going to be cross at your own risk. Yeah, I know the rails are off here a little bit. I'll fix them. It shouldn't affect the spline. Let's see what we've got going on there. Alright, so now we're coming down. This is pretty much the straight part of the slope coming down the mountain. How we looking? Looking pretty good. And then after this map is like completely released as like the homestead style type of map, then I'm going to take this same map and we're going to add to it. I'll add more roads. I'll put, it'll have like a center mountain, outer mountain with a valley and a lake and a stream. So we'll take this same map and then rework it into a fully functioning 16x map with a big home farm, a couple secondary farms for multiplayer. We'll build a full city into it. It'll have complete fields. But if we get the homestead style map built first, that's half the battle, and then it'll be easier to convert into a fully functioning map. Most of the work will be done. Most of the hard work will be done. About halfway down the mountain. And again, everything you see is just roughed in because we're very, very early in the build. I don't even have the mountain finished yet. I just wanted to get it roughed in so we can do the up and over. Yesterday I find my new home on maps, a lovely treehouse. It looks pretty cool at night with the lights on. I haven't seen that. Treehouse would be cool though. I do watch the show Treehouse Masters. That's pretty cool. I like Tiny House Nation. My next house is going to be a tiny house. Turn my camera so I can see the spline. What we'll do is we'll do the XML work, get this train running first, and then if it's running without any errors, we'll come back in, we'll add the extra traffic signal, the traffic signals in. And then we'll see if we can get them. If I can't get them working, then they're going to be decorative. I'll get with Papa Smurf and see if we can't figure them out. sure there's something in the XML I'm missing. Why the first set of crossings works and the second set of crossings doesn't work. We're almost down the mountain. We just have an S. Once we get down the mountain, we have an S bend to go through. Getting there. Oh crap. I hate when I click off of the point. Alright, almost flat. Yeah, let's just get it back up a little bit. And we should be level now. We are. Alright. Let me do another save. Sent you a Whisper Old Man the link for the treehouse. Oh, awesome. I'll definitely take a look at that. I'll probably... What I may do is on my No Man's Land series, I may... If I can sell the house off, I'll sell the house off, put the treehouse in. Alright. I knew this was going to be a couple-hour project to get these trains working. It's already 11 o'clock. Oh, a little bit too far. Let's back that up. Alright, let's get around this S bend. Alright, almost back straight. There's a couple things we're going to have to move. I got to move some of the railroad collar signs. Oh. And then we'll test it just to make sure it spawns in and it runs. And then we'll come back in and add more train crossing signals that don't work. Oh. Alright, let's get you centered. Alright, so how does this curve look? Not too bad. Alright. Let's close this loop. Come down, take my speed back down, try and get this loop to close. I don't like this end point. I may change that end point up a little bit. Let's get this guy back down here. Let me take this end point, take a couple of nodes out, or just try and pull it up a little bit. No, I'm going to delete a couple nodes. Push it back to there. That's better. Let's take the start and let's bring it back up to the end. Get it lined up. Throw in one more point. I don't like how this loop is closing, but let's get it closed. See what the train looks like when we get it in the map. So I'm gonna. Alright, so I need to change the radio collars. These are just temporary. They're gonna move. I just need to figure out where they're gonna go. I just can't have them overlapping train 1. So train 1 is on that side. Let's move this one over to this side for train 2. So we have the collar trigger, we have the hotspot, and we have the teleport node. So that's going to be radio collar 1. I'm going to put just 2 more temporary ones in. And then we'll put the radio collars where the railroad silos are going to be. But for now, let's take the second one. Let's throw it here. And then let's take a third one. We'll throw it down here. So we're going to have probably 5 or 6 railroad silos. So you can move product around on the map with the train. So let me just throw this last one over here for now. Then we shouldn't have to do anything with our i3D mapping. I'm going to leave the splines visible for now. So this is train 2, so let's go File, Export, Train 2, let's overwrite that one. And then before I delete it out of the map, send you two links, one for 19 and one for 22. Thank you. Alright, so let's go into here. So there's a couple things we have to do in the files. So let's go into the 16x map, into placeables, into train system. So we have to take train 1 XML and rename it train 2. And then we have to go into, is it the mod description? No, it's map. That's, yeah, is it not map? No, it's not map. Alright, is it store? Yep, we have to add train 2 into the store. So we have all the same locomotives. I just need to add the second train into here. So this will be train 2. And then we have to go into placeables, and we have to add the second train into the placeables. It's train system, and it's going to run off of the train 2 XML. And then we got to go back into placeables, train system, train 2 XML. We have to tell this to run off of the train 2 I3D, not the train 1 I3D. And this will be train 2. And then everything else should match because we didn't add anything to the train yet. So let's take train 1, we'll delete it out. We'll take train 2, we'll delete it out. Let's save the map, and we'll see if we have 2 running trains instead of 1 running train. Let me go see what he's barking at. I'll be right back. Alright, he's outside. I'm gonna have to let him back in a minute. Alright, so what do we have open here? We had the map open. Let's jump in to see if we have 2 working trains. And I'm gonna get out of here probably for the day, because like I said, I have some errands to run after lunch. I don't know if I'll be back after lunch or not. Depends on how long it takes us to run errands and what we have to get done. Let's see if we have 2 working trains. Any errors in the log while it's loading? Nope, train 2 is going to load. Train 1 loaded, train 2 is loading. Oh, we're at 100%. I think we're error free. So do we have two trains on the map? Like I said, ignore the map because we do have two trains running, and they're running in opposite directions. Awesome. So we should have, let me grab my speed. Speed mod. Alright, what side of the mountain are we on? We are on, where's that second train? It's coming this way. So we should have two trains running. Are they on this side? Am I on the wrong side? I'm on the wrong side of the mountain. I'm on the wrong side of the mountain. Nope. Are they just not in view yet? No, they're on the other side of the mountain. Yeah, other side of the mountain. I want to catch that one. I'm going to catch the second train while it's still on top of the mountain. Let's call train 2. Train 2 is the one closer to the road. So let's call that train and let it come in and stop. So it should be, which direction is it coming from? It's coming from this direction. Alright. And then where's train? Okay, so this is the second train. So let's take the second train down the mountain and see if we have working crossing signals or not. And then I'll turn all, once we're done with the train and the traffic, I'll turn the splines invisible. Ignore the mountain, it's not finished. It's gonna be multi-layered with mines built into it. Alright, so is this signal gonna work? No, this is the same broken signal as train 1. I have no idea why I can get one set of train crossings working and the second set not working. So I've got something wrong in the XML. I just got to figure it out. So let me back up and over the mountain. So the train signal on the other side of the mountain should be working. How's the spline look? It's got to come up just a hair. I would say the treehouse would definitely fit in with No Man's Land. Yeah. I'm hoping, I'll go with, if I can sell the regular house off, I'll replace it with the treehouse. Alright, so let's see if the signal on this side's going to work. Yeah, so I don't know why one set of signals is working and the second set's not. And he went right through the gate. So I got to get the traffic nodes back in as well. Is he going to drive straight through? No, he's not. He's going to stop. So working signals on this side, no working signals on the other side. Catch you next stream, old man. Thanks you so much for your help. You're more than welcome. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here soon because I need to grab lunch, and like I said, we have errands to run. So if our errands are short, I'll try and get another stream in before dinner, but I don't know where we're headed. Have a good lunch and an awesome day. Wish you all a lovely day, evening. See you next time. Yeah, Arlarn, yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to be out of here shortly. I just can't. I just gotta mess around with the XML to figure out why one set of crossings is working, but the rest of them won't. Like, it's not recognizing this set of crossings, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why it's recognizing one set but not recognizing the second set. And if it doesn't recognize the second set, when I put the rest of them in, it's not going to recognize the rest of them. And then I got to get the car blockers working, or the traffic blockers working. But that'll be a problem for later. I'm going to try one thing really quick in the XML. Because I think in 19, each signal had to have its own number. So let's go back to train. Let's work with train 2. I think it's going to be easier to catch. So let's work with train 2. So we have the east signals working, the middle signals not working. And I think the problem may be that they have to be numbered separately. Let me go look at 19 real quick. Let me jump into one of my maps from 19. Placeables, no. Maps, placeables, train system, train 1. Yes, okay, so root node 1, root node 2, so the root nodes need to be numbered separately. And then we have train crossing bells, they're all numbered 1, so that shouldn't matter. So the root nodes may need to be numbered separately. So let's look at train 2. Where's our root node? Do we have a root node in 22? We do. But you're not numbered. Crap, let me open that XML back up. Let me go back into 19. So it says root node. Okay, so they're different in 22. They're actually running off of the I3D. Or they're running off of the link. Let's look at something in the base game real quick. See how they have them set up in the base game. Let's go look at Steam apps, Farm Sim 22, train. See if we can't find the train system. Which one are you? You're the US map, you're the French map, you're the Alpine map. I base mine off the US map. Let's see if the train system in this is set up any differently. So we have railroad crossing, Okay, so they're numbered on this map. They're not running off of the I3D. So that may be my problem. So let's go back into here. And let's go to train 1. So let's call this root node 1. We'll call this root node 2. And then we'll go to train 2. We'll call this root node 1. We'll call this root node 2. Let's go back and look at that XML. So we have railroad crossing, okay, crossing 1, crossing 2. So everything else is the same. So my start and my that's set up the same, that's set up the same. I have to put my traffic blockers back in. And then our signals are set up the same, and then the bells. Okay, I think that's maybe our problem. I think we may be good now. Let's go. We'll go in and test that real quick. But let's get the, see if I can get the traffic blockers working. So let's come over here. If I can get the traffic blockers working and we can get the signals working, then we can get the rest of the signals in after lunch. But let's bring train 1 back in. Alright, so let's go in and look at the traffic blockers. Traffic blocker, oh, sorry, other side of the mountain. Let's get that one working first. So that's traffic blocker 1 and traffic blocker 2. So this one should be 0500. We're on train 1. So 0500 traffic blocker node. Which one? Maybe I had them. Oh, traffic blocker node right there. 501. 501. Let's turn these back on because these were throwing errors. That's why I turned them off. But let's see if they're going to work now. So you're going to be numbered 5. You should be numbered 6. And we'll turn them back on. We'll see if they throw errors. So it should be 0501 and 0511. So it should be 0501. You should be 511. And then these should be 601 and 611. So 601 and 611. Let's save that. Let's turn them on train 2. And we'll jump in game real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. Oh, let me go let the dog back in. All right, let me save that. All right, bear with me. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. So let's see if we have 2 working signals now instead of 1. So we didn't change anything, so all I have to do is take this train system, delete it back out. All we do is change the XML. Alright, so let's jump back in here. Grab a new save. Ah, it's a good thing too because my coffee cup is empty. It's never good when the coffee cup is empty. Alright, so I'm going to jump up to the top of the mountain. We're going to jump up here to the radio callers. And I want the one closer to the road. I want this one. So let's call the train. And the train should be coming up the mountain from this direction. Yep, we just have to wait for it to come up the mountain. And then we'll see if we have two working crossing signals. While we're waiting for the train, let's check the log and see if the errors reappeared with the traffic blockers. Okay, so the errors went away with the traffic blocker, so maybe we have it figured out this time. No coffee's not good, I know. If my coffee cup's empty, it's never good. I'm hoping these signals work now, so we can get the rest of the signals in after lunch and be done with the train. Alright, I'm going to back down the mountain, see if we can get the one work, see if they both work. And we'll check the one, we'll back down the mountain, we'll check that one first. And then we'll come back up the mountain and check the other one. I either completely broke them or we fixed them. Nope, it looks like now they're completely broken. So the one on this side of the mountain's not even working anymore. So I gotta figure out what's up with the X. I gotta figure out why my traffic signals won't work. There's something wrong in the XML file. Because the one on this side of the mountain was the one that was working. The one on the other side of the mountain was the one that was broken. I think I know what the problem might be. I think I need to move them in the transform group. Start slowing down. Because if the signals aren't working, the traffic blocker's not going to be working. So that means the cars are going to be able to drive straight through. Yeah, see, the signals completely stopped working. and there's no errors in the log. Let's go back and look at that French map and see if we can't figure out the XML. So let me come back in and pull back. Let me come back into, do I have it open or did I close it? No, that's the hollow map. All right, let's go back into the base game. Steam, Steam apps, Farm Sim 22. Let's pull that train back up. Let's pull the train back up from the French map because it was definitely set up different than mine. So it has all the railroad crossings listed together, so they're not separated. So let me grab this for a second. Let me copy it over to train 2. And for now, let's just put it under here, so I can compare them side by side. Alright, so it has root node. It has the root node. We have our activation start distance and end distance. We have our gates. They're okay, so they don't have the 0. Okay, so that may be the problem. They're all i3D mapped differently. So they're definitely i3D mapped differently. So this is running off of root node 2. Let's look at this train real quick from the base game. So we have Railroad Crossing 1, which is root node 2. So where are they getting their root node from? Right there. So they're calling it 2. They're not putting the 0 open mouth, whatever the less than, greater than. I still don't know my difference between less than and greater than. So that's running off of this root node, but without the 0. I think that's greater than. And then the gate doesn't have the 0 in front of it. Alright, so that may be the... Let's close that. Let's close that so I don't accidentally make any changes to it. Let's go back to train 2. Okay, so let's back this one out because that's the one from the other map. And let's do this. So let's call you 5. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We'll take that out. We'll take that out. Take this out. We'll take that one out, and then we'll take this one out. And we'll do the same thing down here. So you become, we'll make you root node 6 because that's what this is running off of. So that one out. That one out. Take that out. Take that out. I'm going to save this. I'm only going to mess with train 2 for now. We'll come back and look at train one separately. See if that will work. Which Richie map you talking about? You should get all the mods for the maps. Oh, how could I get storage buildings? The storage buildings are now obsolete because they're not working properly. So if you're talking about like the pallet storage, the produce storage, the bulk liquid in the bulk warehouse, we've eliminated them for now until they can get rebuilt because they're not pushing the product to the next factory properly. So we're in the process of reworking them. So I've eliminated them from now from all of the downloads. Let's head back up the mountain. Let's call train 2, and let's wait for it to show up. Yeah, so the storage buildings for the Richie maps have been temporarily eliminated until they can get reworked. Because let's say you have the pallet storage, for instance. So if we take like drill pipe and we send it to the pallet storage, and we tell the pallet storage to distribute it, and you have 3 different oil wells down, the warehouse doesn't know where to push the drill pipe, so it's not sending it out properly to the next factory that needs it. So we've temporarily eliminated them until we can get them rebuilt. Or figure out why it's not taking the drill pipe back out of the warehouse and moving it to 3 different oil wells. So if this works for train 2, then we know what to do for train 1. If not, I'm going to mess around with these off camera until I can get them figured out. So let's back down the mountain and we'll see if we can see if the signals are working or not. So we just have to probably rework the XMLs on all the storages and then do more testing. The traffic blocker's working. And the signal may be working. So the signal should be down because we're not close enough. I mean, the signal should be up because we weren't close enough. Let's see if we can if this signal's working now. So this signal's now going to work. Is the traffic going to stop? Yes, the traffic is going to stop. All right, let's check the log real quick. Come on, reload the log. There we go. So is the train throwing errors or not throwing errors? Train is not throwing errors. All right, let's go see if the second signal is going to work. And then if it does work, then we can get the rest of the signals in after lunch. And then as we add like roads up here onto the top of the mountain to go into different mines, we're going to have to add more signals in. You mean Dixie is testing? Yeah. Dixie does my testing. She is awesome. Let me start slowing down. So I want to try and stop before we get to the road. Oop. Stop. Come on, slow down. No traffic signal. I have no idea why one set's working and the other set's not. I am completely lost as to why. I can get one set of working and the second set not working. Have no clue why. And there's no errors on the log telling me why one set's working and one set's not working. Let me try one more thing with the XML, and I'm going to call it. Let's go into train 2. Let's move this crossing signal in this transform group. So let me move it up here underneath this one. Oh, yeah. Let me move it. It shouldn't matter because they're in the same transform group. They're already in the same transform group. I have no idea why one set's working, one set's not working. Because now it's set up exactly like this one is. So we have our railroad crossings, we have the main transform, and then we have the sub-bracket Okay, so the link note here is different. Let me take the link note here and change this to 5. I'll take this one and change it to 6. That's the only other difference I see between this XML and the in-game XML is the link node number. So the root node and then the link node. Let's try that really quick, and then I need to get out of here. If not, I'll just mess around with these off camera until I get them working. So I want to get the, after lunch, if I come back, I want to get the vehicle shop in and working and the animal dealer in and working. So let's head back up the mountain. Let's call that train again. So I want train 2, which is this one. So we just need to wait for it to come back up the mountain. Because if I tried running up to the train and jumping in, and it won't let you. You have to wait for the train to come to you before you can get into it. Even if I turn switch to trains on, I can't get into it. Switch to trains is on, and it won't let me tab into them. So you have to wait for the train to get to you and then jump in it. Or no signals, exactly. Oh, let me jump back up here to the map. Alright, she's a-coming. We can't think she's coming around the mountain. We got to think she's coming over the mountain. Oh, come on, let me in. There you go. Alright, let's back down the mountain. Check this site again, since I changed the XML. This was a site that was working. And this is the train I need to add like 6 more signals to, because it crosses more roads than the other train. Not working. I see no light. Oh, it is working. Alright, so this one's working. Let's go back. Let's go up over the mountain and see if the second one's still dead. We'll just put a with that speed the train can run, there should be no problem with crossing without signals. We'll just put a out of order sign on it. Cross at your own risk. We'll put a little maintenance van parked there with a little worker and a ladder on the signal. And a big sign saying out of order, cross at your own risk. Nope, it's not going to work. I see no flashing lights. I have absolutely no idea why one set's working and the other set's not. There's absolutely no difference between the two on how they're set up in the map and how they're set up in the XML. No clue as to why one set's working, one set's not. But I'm going to get out of here. We'll figure it out. I'll get it figured out eventually. I remember one of your FS19 maps there, the train. Yeah, I actually sped the train up in this map as well. I'm going to throw you all on ending soon. Appreciate everybody stopping in. I don't know if I'll be back today or not, so either catch you this afternoon or we'll catch you all tomorrow. Appreciate everybody stopping in. Appreciate the bits, the gift subs. Hope you all have an awesome afternoon.